Good evening, everyone, and welcome. It's the 22nd annual Gala of Hope, and we are just so excited. And of course, the theme today is That's Amore, and we've got something big planned for the very end of the show, so we'll let you all in on that. But just so great to see everybody out there. So excited that everyone is a part of this. It is, of course, Mark, as you know, virtual. Hopefully,
Yeah.
this is the last year, right?
Yeah, let's just say this will be the last year. One never knows, but it'll be great to see everybody in person again next year. And boy, it's just two in a row. I think I'd like to get back to some sort of normal. By the way, Steve, I just want to mention before we continue,
Yeah.
when you were anchoring on the Global Morning News, the viewers actually were waiting for the end of the show. So we do have a grand finale at the end of the show as well. I know
Absolutely.
you're going to take a few digs at me, so I thought I would.
That's right. That's right. That's good. That's good.
But it's the theme of love, absolutely. So anyway, we're going to do a little toast, just a quick opening toast to this year for sure, and next year all being together. So thanks for coming, everybody, and welcome.
Yes, raise your glasses. Thank you very much, everybody. Welcome. We're so excited. Okay, so obviously we're here for a major cause, and that is, of course, thankful to you because your support does have a huge impact in the lives of so many children. We'll hear from one of those children a little later on tonight. We also have some really fun surprises for you as well. So it's going to be a great evening. It's not going to be a long evening. We're not going to keep you here till midnight like we would if this was an in-person gala. And as we know, there's a lot of probably parties later on tonight. Halloween. Mark, you're going to a Halloween party, I hear. You're going to dress up as the same thing you were on television. Now, just so everyone knows, you were dressed up as.
Well, yeah, it's been about 7 or 8 years when I dressed. I did sort of the same thing yesterday on the morning news, but it's been several years, and it was with you, Steve, you and Sophie, 7 or 8 years ago. Yeah, I was kind of a lost in the '70s, mid '70s, the kind of the disco guy with the big mustache and the hair and
The whole bit.
it was fun. It was a lot of fun. So I'm going to put that on tonight and head to a little get together a little later. So yeah, and some of you out there may be doing the same. Probably not dressing like that, but
Yeah.
in other ways. But Steve, you bet.
I should mention, by the way, that you are going to wear the white pants though, goes with the outfit. I hope anyway.
I'm going to wear the very tight white pants. Yes.
Okay. Just so you know, we do have some counselors on board here, so we can't put a bylaw in Surrey, and so that cannot happen tonight because there's just certain things that we want to scare the kids. We want to scare the kids, right?
Yeah. Mark Mandriga in those white pants. All right. Well, we better get a little bit serious here. Although this gentleman has a wonderful sense of humor, but he is going to speak with us tonight and give us a lot of information about why we're here, and just a wonderful man. Gerard Bramo, who is the CEO for the Center of Child Development. Gerard, hello.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Steve. Welcome back, guys. This is good fun. I do want to see that again with the outfit, although some of the terms that we were talking about before for the weather are scary enough, aren't they, Mark? It's so we got some scary boo going on, but on a serious note, as we get started, I did want to acknowledge, respectfully where we are, and to acknowledge some of our many supporters from First Nations communities by starting by acknowledging the Kwantlen, Musqueam, Katsi, Semiahmoo, Tsawwassen, Kikite, and Quaquitlam peoples, on whose traditional territories the Center for Child Development stands and serves, and whose historical relationship with the land continues to this day. So I'd particularly like to offer our respect to all the elders who've gone before us, and to the elders and First Nations people who are with us today, and a particular shout out to Chief Harley Chappell, who's been a long time supporter from the Semiahmoo First Nation. So Harley, if you're with us, joining us tonight, thank you so much for joining us and all your support.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Gerard. And we also have some special guests that are joining with us, as Harley also. We want to include City of Surrey Councillor Linda Annis is with us tonight, and the Deputy Commissioner Dwayne McDonald, Commanding Officer of E Division of the RCMP.
That's right. Also, Assistant Commissioner Brian Edwards of the Surrey RCMP, the Centre Board Chair Sarah McDonald as well.
Foundation Board Chair and Gala Committee member Dylan Van Ruin.
Board Director and Gala Chair Steve Stew. Welcome, Steve.
And of course, our Gala Committee members, Mary Martins, Shirley Repko, and Ruby Baines.
And I'd like to thank all of our incredible Gala Organizing Committee members and staff. Thank you so much. I know you put a lot of volunteer hours, and of course, today, all of you would have received in advance this lovely charcuterie and wine package. So thank you to our sponsors for that. Thank you to the delivery team who made that possible. And I also want to again acknowledge Mark and Steve. Whenever we reach out to them, they've been so forthcoming, support us through many of our events, volunteer to do this. So they may not hear you giving them a big round of applause, but if you could, thank you guys. Thank you so much for all your support to these events as our MCs.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. You bet.
Yeah, of course, this night would not be possible without the generosity of our sponsors. So we want to raise a glass and a big round of applause for our gold sponsored, Djavad Mowafaghian, the foundation. I want to thank them very much for their tremendous support. Probably one of the most giving foundations in the world. They're so incredible. So thank you very much for that.
Absolutely. Our charcuterie sponsor, Warner Brothers, Superman and Lois TV series. And we have a few of their crew members from their TV series, Superman and Lois, joining us tonight. So thank you very much for all of your support.
I don't know about you, Mark. I'm absolutely hooked on that show. It's so good. I don't know if you've watched any of it yet. You should, if you haven't, you should put it on because I love it. I think it's great. I'm a big fan, so I'm really excited that the cast members are on board here. Our wine sponsor, Stew Consulting Services. So thank you very much for that.
All right. Our Hope sponsors, Surrey Firefighters Charitable Society, CIBC, and Hands Trucking, and also Sammy J's.
Absolutely.
And we have a message from our charcuterie sponsor, Warner Brothers, a little video to play right now.
Hi, I'm Gregory Smith, producing director from Superman and Lois, the latest entry in Warner Brothers TV's DC lineup. We feel very fortunate to have the opportunity to film in this community where many of us have lived and raised our families. You know, at its heart, Superman and Lois is about families, about how we lift each other up in times of need. So in behalf of the entire cast and crew, we are excited to support the center to honor the real superheroes in our community. Thank you to all the amazing staff and supporters who continue to lift up children and families in their time of need. We're so happy to be part of your evening. We hope you enjoy the charcuterie packages and picnic blankets for today's event. Thank you.
That's amazing. Thank you very much. Yes,
absolutely.
Mark, I think you and I should be on there as superheroes. I think it would be perfect. Yeah. Do you have any special talents? I don't, but I'm hoping you do.
Not really.
Yeah, me neither. Not much at all. So, what's your superpower? Well, we talk. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just move on.
Yeah, we talk for a living.
That's right. Gerard.
Okay. You go ahead, Steve. I think I should get back to Gerard here if we're all set to go, Gerard. And we have a few questions for you to get into, and you're going to take us through the next little while here and give us some great information. So we're in our second year of COVID, as we know, which has been a drag, but we're sliding out of it slowly, hopefully. Now, how has the center continued to balance providing critical services while keeping everyone safe during COVID?
Oh, thanks, Mark. Thanks, Steve. You know, safety has been job one, and it's always been one of our primary values. But boy, has it been tested these last 2 years to ensure the safety of our children and families, and particularly because many of our children have compromised immune systems. They're pretty vulnerable, and not to bring folks down. I mean, everyone's here in that spirit of love and care, and so thank you for that. At the same time, they're pretty fragile little ones, many of them, and so keeping them in a place where they could survive and thrive, making sure that we provided our services safely. We were deemed an essential service as a healthcare service by the province. So to create that safety, we quickly moved to telehealth. When I say quickly, I mean literally within a week or two, we were into providing telehealth services to make sure the kids could get the support, because not having the support would have been really unfortunate for them. But we still do some things in person. Our daycare services, for example, for first responders was the first cab off the rank. And as I see Dwayne and Brian joining us, I know that, you know, for RCMP, for our healthcare professionals, we wanted to be there for them so they could keep being there for all of us. And as we did that, Sophie's Place also is one of those types of services that needs to be provided in service in person for children who might experience abuse. And some of the things we do in therapy really can't be done another way. If you're adjusting a wheelchair, it's not something you can do virtually, obviously. But we did as much as we could virtually, and we adapted everything in line with the PHO orders. When you say everything, it's kind of like, okay, what would that be? It's quite a long list. So everyone knows about PPE for therapies, but we were one of the very first agencies in the province to have our staff vaccinated and have masking. Have all of the extensive PPE so we could do those in person sessions, but we also upgraded all our air filtration, the frequency of it. So we have hospital grade air filtration in the center now. That wasn't something before that. Everyone was doing cleaning, but we were doing it as well very frequently. And you know of these things, but to do all that stuff online, medical privacy is very important. So we were upgrading those telehealth platforms, and many of you were helping us to do it on the fly as we were going forward and the choices we were making to do that. And our therapists kept adapting, modifying services, keeping everybody safe. We want to make sure that not just the therapeutic progress was being made, but that really people were in a position where their mental health, their well-being was being attended to. So flexibility, flexibility, flexibility. Some things work better than you might think on telehealth, things like communication therapy. Physiotherapy, you can understand not so well. So you can do some things, but you really need a blend. And that's where we've come to as we move to this part of our next move with the adaptation to COVID. So it's telehealth right now that is really the topic du jour, but the blend going forward is where we're at.
So, Gerard, throughout this pandemic, we've noticed that the demand for support services has dramatically increased because people have been, as you said, been able to go to places. So that it's obviously a big challenge for families. So, and a lot of them have been struggling to try and meet the demand as well. Has the center also seen an increased demand for their services as well?
Yeah, that's part of the pre-existing challenge is the population growth that was running into the front end of the pandemic didn't stop. And we all know a lot about what's happened in terms of transition that people have made, but the growth into the South Fraser didn't slow. And so the demand for services kept growing. Some of the things that I've mentioned in the past, I mean, people have heard me say as well, we serve 3,000 children a year. 30,000 children in the South Fraser need our services. So there's a big gap to fill. What you may not know is that we had 3,500 new referrals even during the pandemic on top of the 3,000 children that we're serving. So you can see the challenge of our children don't come in once and then we say goodbye. We're working with them really through to the age of 18. So trying to create more space for more children is quite a challenge with that kind of volume. And complexity keeps going up. I mean, the medical needs of our children are complex, but often the demographics of our region are not necessarily considered. So, there's 104 languages spoken in the region, and trying to adapt to that. Your support actually through these types of events, this gala, and all through the year, make it possible for us to interpreter services that aren't paid for any other way. And that makes sure that every child that needs that kind of support gets it. And we've seen other services like our early years program that we introduced over the last couple of years. This program really is something where we serve the most vulnerable children in our society. These are young children. Their families may face significant socioeconomic challenges. And frankly, during this time, the need for them to have basics like diapers, formula, connect families to food agencies and housing really became very, very important. So the center has become more and more comprehensive in what it does, and the needs that it meets are more and more complicated.
Oh, Gerard, how did the community kind of rally and all get together and during the pandemic?
In a word, tremendously. Everyone was here for us. So I want to, really sincerely from the bottom of my heart, say thank you to all of you who are online with us tonight, but everyone who supported us through the year and these last 2 years and before that. But, in this time of crisis, you really see people's character and the values in our community. People stepped up. Every time we had a challenge, people came forward. We weren't left high and dry at all. I want to highlight some of the people who actually came forward for us as community leaders, and it doesn't really touch on everyone, of course, and I'm sorry for that. But in the time we have, I did want to highlight a few that really came forward for us strongly, and GNF Financial Group is one of them. They partnered with us over the last 3 years. They've raised over $370,000, Mark, for us through various events, including their annual charity golf tournament. And because of that, we were able to renovate, kind of one of the things is if the space isn't full of children, because we're doing telehealth, we can do some renovation work. And we did. We fixed subfloors, we renovated our gyms, we installed specialized flooring, high efficiency windows, air conditioning, all those things that sound pretty banal, but really make a difference to kids' comfort and safety as they return back into those spaces, and some of them continue to the space. So thank you to GNF for that. And as they managed to outperform even their own commitments, they're able to help us then with the next phases with telehealth. So that you'd think would be enough, but then our playground got vandalized during this because we weren't on site as much. And they stepped up immediately when we put a call for help and helped us to repair that specialized playground. And you think, oh, it's just a playground, but it's also a therapy space. So I know that we all want to thank them very, very much. So thank you, GNF.
Yeah, in fact, GNF Financial, great community partners, great partners with the center, obviously. And in fact, we have a little message from the friends at GNF Financial.
Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Tyler McLean. I'm a manager with our wealth management team.
And I'm Anita Jensen, Manager of Community Engagement. GNF has been very proud to support the Center for Child Development over the years through the run, walk and roll for our kids, through supporting the gala like this one we're at this evening, and most recently through our annual golf tournament, partnering with the Center over the past 3 years. Organizations like the Center are so important to GNF as they provide a space to bring out the amazing potential that every child has inside of them. The Center specifically has taken a leadership role in the community through these challenging times, adapting to providing these great services, even when it wasn't safe to enter closed spaces through the virtual telehealth program. This program allows kids the opportunity to engage, learn, and interact with others in a safe environment.
As we all have heard the term before, these are unprecedented times. The compassion is clearly evident when you speak to anyone at the center, hearing their commitment to adapt and find new ways to reach the children who need their services the most. It's truly inspiring. Just like this evening, the way we have connected has changed, but the center's commitment to deliver first-class services to the 3,000 plus children they serve hasn't. We couldn't be prouder to have had this partnership over the past 3 years, and we greatly look forward to find ways to support the center in the future. On behalf of GNF Financial, thank you for the wonderful work you do in making a difference in the lives of the children you serve.
Amazing.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you, GNF. And for those who are online with us from GNF, and a particular shout out and thanks to Anita and to Tyler for that wonderful video and the entire team. I did, as we were discussing before, and you highlight our friends at the Djavad Mowafaghian Foundation, and thank you for that. I would like to add to the toast in their direction, because we're excited to be reopening our hydrotherapy pool. That's one of the things we really couldn't do safely through all of this, and it's one of the largest in the South Fraser, and it's going to be opening later this year. It's one of the most popular and exciting programs for kids, of course, because it really makes therapy enjoyable, pleasant. You might think you're playing as opposed to having therapy, but it's really quite challenging. But the Djavad Mowafaghian Foundation has been a really sincere supporter for quite a time, providing well over $1 million over the years. And they helped us through their generosity also to complete a long overdue renovation of that hydrotherapy pool and change rooms. They've also, along the way, supported our eating skills program and communication therapy, and are very rare in that latter part is actually putting their shoulder into a direct therapy service. So I want to thank Amit Eshki, Margaret Thompson of the Djavad Mowafaghian Foundation for their continued commitment, but most of all their friendship and their care for our children and families with special needs. Thank you so very, very much. And as I do a little bit of applause as well with Steve, I also don't want to be remiss in not acknowledging another longstanding teammate and partner, the Surrey Firefighters Charitable Society. They've provided over $310,000 in the past 17 years. And a particular shout out to our foundation board chair, Dylan Van Ruyen, who is a member of that team. They participated, sponsored, even helped us set up our annual run, walk, and roll, as mentioned earlier, and been key partners with our golf tournaments, our galas. They volunteered in person. There's nothing at the sight of firefighters hanging lights to give you confidence. These guys come with real equipment, not the amateur stuff that I would use. And they're the first ones, again, with GNF to really help out with the playground and restoring it. And the feeling is very mutual between us in helping this community. So thanks to our dear friends and partners of the Surrey Firefighters.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Our casting splinting program, to acknowledge a few others, Steve and Mark, Scott Johnson and Charles Johnson Charitable Foundation. Boy, have they been steadfast for this program that's really transformative for many, many children. And without them, hundreds of children wouldn't have received free casts and splints that would have otherwise cost their families thousands and thousands of dollars. So Evan is one of the people who has really understands what that means. And we're going to hear from him a little bit later. The Arnold and Anita Silver Family Foundation also really stepped up and were key for us through the inception of Sophie's Place, but also sponsor our galas, golf tournaments, and put their shoulder into continued commitment to our high in demand early years program I mentioned earlier. So I want to thank them especially for our Newton Early Years Hub. For those of you who know the South Fraser Newton, you know that's a key area to have a hub for early years for children and families. So such a tremendous service. Also the Hui Family 99 Nurseries. They've been with us through so many galas. You've enjoyed their flowers in person. We hope to see them again in person coming up soon. But to let you know, they didn't stop just because the gala wasn't in person. And they've been supporting many of our programs. And their daughter, Taylor, attended our childcare program over 20 years ago. We also were blessed recently as we were scrambling to actually do some expansion, to have new friends, XN Software, and thank you to them for donating an incredible amount of furniture valued at over $60,000 that really helped set up an expanded supported child development team. So we're fortunate to be growing in that area to reach out one-on-one to hundreds and hundreds of kids across the community and hundreds of daycare centers. So thank you to XN for the incredible generous gift of support, and a shout out to Tony Miles, one of our past board directors who facilitated that donation. So I'd also like to acknowledge some of our dedicated board members because they make these connections happen, but especially Sandra and Rachel Dick. I know they'll be humble and modest, but I want to acknowledge them. They've raised funds through CIBC's Miracle Day. Marcella Baum and Ruby Baines and Mary Martin, they're all probably ducking right now going, I don't want to be acknowledged, but we need to acknowledge you and your families. You've supported us so much over the last decade. And I got to embarrass Steve Stu a little. You guys know him, and he deserves embarrassing because he's a great guy. But we've deemed the title Gala Guru. He's the man,
Yeah.
And he relishes bringing us all together for this event every year, and he really does an outstanding job. So Steve, I know you're out there. I know you're in the background as you like and prefer to be, but you need to be acknowledged up front, my friend, for the tremendous work and some nice pictures there. And thank you, Judith. So too many to name, but a few there, I hope, that give people the flavor, the generosity, love, and care that we're blessed with at the center.
Massive hearts.
Yeah, absolutely. What a wonderful list of community support you have, and we have, and so many tremendous people, and you see some there on the screen. So Gerard, how can the community continue to help during this fourth wave of the pandemic?
Well, it's, some of the programs that we provide across the 5 cities that we work in Surrey, White Rock, Delta, and both of the Langleys. And you may be surprised that we're in over 280 locations in the community, all the schools, our own free centers, and really community homes and childcare centers all sprinkled throughout. So we're on the road a lot between all of our teams. And as we provide all those in-person services and telehealth services, there's some that just wouldn't exist without our donor support. And I want to highlight, you may have heard me highlight them before, but they bear repeating. That's our casting and splinting program, custom-made splinting, free for all children. As they grow and develop, they may need dozens of these casts, and that expense is covered by you as donors. So thank you. Our eating skills program, what you're helping us make sure happens is that infants and children are able to safely swallow and get enough nutrients to survive and thrive. This isn't for just fussy eaters. This is for kids who, if they didn't have this program and the services of a pediatric dietitian team, really would face very serious health challenges. So thank you for your support for the eating skills team. Our equipment team helps customize mobility devices. It's one thing to provide them, it's another to make sure they fit a child and they suit the challenges that they face to achieve independence. And so they can fully participate in society. Equipment isn't about equipment. Equipment's about access and being able to be like all the other children. So your support makes that possible. And I mentioned the hydrotherapy pool. It's pretty unique. It's one of a kind. It was here in 1974. It's been lovingly maintained, but boy, that is one loved and beloved service at a very warm, friendly place, and it makes all the difference for children to have therapy against the resistance of water and with the buoyancy of water. And Sophie's Place, lest I forget, is the Lower Mainland's first child and youth advocacy center, unique collaboration really glad to have Dwayne and Brian with us here in acknowledgement of them and the RCMP teams, Ministry of Public Safety, Solicitor General, Ministry for Children and Family Development, together with our teams at the center. Over 230 children last year. That number is only going up as we've expanded now to children up to 15 years of age. So these are a few of the areas of need that your support goes through to tonight and throughout the year that we really are grateful to you for.
It's amazing, Gerard. Thank you so much, and I think we should also, Mark, do a big thank you for Gerard as well, because your teams are so incredible, but there has to be someone at the top that helps all that come together. So we would thank you very much, Gerard. It's, as I know, it's been sort of unprecedented, but it really has been, and for you to be able to do what you've done during this pandemic really is impressive.
Yeah.
So thank you very much to you and your team.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah,
Thank
tremendous. And Gerard, Steve and I go back many years with you, and over the years, you've just been an awesome leader and contributor, huge contributor, and you just do so much for this entire community. So thank you, Gerard, and it's a pleasure to be working with you again this year.
Yeah,
Pleasure is very mutual and honor likewise. Thank you both.
yeah, amazing. All right, enough of that. We've given some love. Now we need some love from you, because here's what we want. The silent auction is still open. We have some very exciting items. Mark, can you highlight a couple of items for us?
Yes, I can. You're playing the role of the Price is Right, right?
That's
Johnny
right,
Olson.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, you've done that actually, haven't you, Steve?
I have done the Price is Right. It sounds like pretty much my career I've done everything.
Yeah, I'd say pretty much.
That's right.
Well, you and I started when you were doing sports back in 1998. You were an employee of Global for about 2 seconds, and they had you MC the Christmas party right away. I remember that very well.
That's right. Yeah,
All
good
right,
times.
So, okay. Yeah, the silent auction, of course, still open through tomorrow. I think it's noon, Steve. So many exciting items. And let's go back and forth a bit here. There's a luxury 4-night Mexico getaway.
That's right.
I've never been to Mexico myself.
That's right. Well, this one is available anytime for the next 15 years, depending on when this pandemic ends. So there you go. Okay, good for that. A 7-night stay in the shoe shop if you want to stay a little more local.
Yep, there's a WestJet round trip flight for 2 as well on there.
That's right. Heading to Langley. It's amazing. It's going to be a lot of fun. Equipment for center therapies as well.
Oh, I wonder if anybody thinks we're funny, or is it just the two of us? Okay, equipment for center therapies, for sure. The equipment is very important, and that's on our silent auction list as well, Steve.
Yeah. By the way, in case anyone's wondering, we live by a code at the morning news when I was there, and the code was, if we're entertaining ourselves, that's all that matters. So there you go.
Okay.
All right. We have wine, which we may have had some, and a wine fridge as well, some artwork, some jewelry, and what else, Mark?
There's sports memorabilia. Now I see a lot of that on there, and it's just tremendous. There's autographed pictures. I don't know if there's a jersey. I've forgotten right now, but there's Dave Schultz. There's Bo Horvat. I see Lanny McDonald. And of those 3 players, Steve, I can't figure out which one you were more connected with as far as your on-ice performance. Certainly you're not a big scrapper like Dave Schultz. You're not a sniper like Lanny McDonald. And I don't know if you're tough in the corners like Bo Horvat. You're more the Phil Esposito type is how I see you.
Yeah. Well, or maybe Bob Esposito, his brother, that never played in the league. I think that was more like it. So there you go.
So, but basically, yeah, there's wall-to-wall items on the silent auction list. So many great things, Steve.
So don't miss out. Get your bids online, givergy.ca, Gala of Hope until noon, as Mark mentioned, tomorrow, October 31st. If your local auction items will be delivered to your doorstep. If you're joining us from out of town, they will be couriered to you as well. So there's absolutely no reason for you not to bid now, because we can, no matter where you are, we will find you.
Okay. There are other options. You can donate through the website. There are a variety of giving options available. You can see some of the things here now. You can donate securities, leave a legacy in your will. And how about the next thing in the list, Steve?
Yeah, you can also donate your house. Wait a second. What?
Well, why not?
Yeah,
why
sure,
not?
Why not? Whatever works. That's great.
That's right. It's a wonderful cause. A
variety of here. Steve Stu may have the best house, but still,
well,
not. Yes.
If Steve's out there, I've
right.
been to Steve's place. That's a wonderful idea. Now that you mention it, Steve, darling.
Now, kidding, all seriousness, there's a variety of ways you can help out the center and provide such life-changing services to amazing kids. So make sure that you do get on there and support. There's lots of great things to be had.
Yeah, absolutely. So if not right this minute, certainly a little later on and through tomorrow morning, and get your bids in. Steve, I'll just do a little intro here, and then maybe you can take it from here with Evan McNamara. We have a video interview with a former center client, Evan McNamara. But first, a little background about Evan.
Yeah, Evan was born with arthrogryposis, which is a rare condition that prevents muscles and tendons from keeping up with the rate of bone growth. So while growing up, Evan benefited from most of the services that were provided at the center, and he's now donating his time as an ambassador, in fact, to help raise funds for other children.
Yeah, Evan is an amazing young man and has always found his own way of doing things, including playing basketball and forming his own band. In fact, Evan was featured in the Vancouver Sun a few years ago after his basketball team qualified for the 2017 Provincial Summer Games. And out of 300 players, Evan was named a Tournament All-Star, won Player of the Game, won the shooting competition for his division, and was named Most Inspirational Player. Way to go.
Yeah, it's amazing. He was also recently won the Coast Capital Savings Standing Tall Award supporting his post-secondary education. Now he's 20. He's done all that, by the way, and he's 20. Just so you know, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Evan is pursuing his goal of a career in music. He's enrolled in Douglas College's music program, and he plays the drums. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a quick look at Evan's video.
Our goal is always for our children to be as independent as possible, but I know everyone has unique challenges and unique interests, and we need to customize our therapy to accommodate those challenges in order to develop independence. And I'm very, very proud of the independence that you've developed over the years.
All of my experiences with the center have been super positive, and from just doing physio and stuff, and that was really fun, and swimming and all the things that I got to do here that were benefiting me, they were also made to be super fun and enjoyable. And then kind of getting to volunteer and do stuff here as I grew older and kind of help out, that was also super fun. That was really great, and my family loved getting involved. I had lots of family coming to the golf tournament and the events and all that, and supporting, and everyone loved hearing about it and coming out to these events and all that. So just overall, everything's just been super enjoyable and fun and just beneficial to everybody. So I think it's super great.
With the challenges that each child has, we need to customize splits. We just customized a lot of splits for you over the years, and as well as customize the treatment so that it matches both the challenges and the child's interest.
The treatment that I received here is just amazing, and I can't imagine a world where someone in my situation doesn't have just an all-in-one solution. Everything's here. Otherwise you'd have to kind of reach out and do everything, and that's super overwhelming, especially when you're first learning that this is kind of your life and you have to navigate all of this, and just to have a team that is kind of there for you, and everything's here. I did so much here, so many different things, and it's all just kind of here, and that's just amazing. There's nothing like that, and so I think that's super important for people who are starting in this way.
Wow, that is amazing. What an inspirational story. It's truly is incredible, Mark.
It certainly is. What a guy. He really exemplifies why we're here tonight, Steve, and everyone else out there, showing the impact that your support has, and that has on the outcomes of these incredible children. So I throw it to you right now, Gerard.
Yeah, thank you very much, Steve and Mark, and Evan, for that fantastic video. And we're lucky Evan's going to join us in a second here to say a few words on top of his video. And Evan, thank you so very much for joining us. And thanks for that tremendous video. And just a quick acknowledgement as well of Karen Edwards, who interviewed you, our VP of Medical Rehabilitation. So Evan, over to you, my friend. I'm here with you, and please join us to say a few words.
Does my mic work?
Yeah, you're on, my friend.
Alrighty. Thank you, Gerard. I'm very excited to join everyone here tonight to share my story. As you heard, I was born with a condition called arthrogryposis, which basically causes my joints and tendons to
Hey,
tighten.
Evan, we're getting a little bit of mic feedback on you there, pal. I want to make sure that we hear your story. So
properly.
Yeah, we're just getting a little bit of mic. Your mic's cutting in and out. If it's on a plug, make sure it's plugged in nice and tight, and then we might have an internet connection. Oh, he's back there. Try again, Evan.
We're going to try again, my friend Evan, because we had you a little staccato and we lost you a little bit. So sorry about that. But you were saying how about your condition and describing that for us. So perhaps you could talk a little bit more again. We look a little frozen, I'm afraid, Steve.
Yeah, I think it's not going to work, unfortunately. But as we know, again, I'll say at the unprecedented times, the internet is stressed to the max. Evan, can you hear us? We'll try one more time. Evan, can you hear us? Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to work. But we thank Evan for being here. I was, I'm actually really glad the internet, because I was actually going to challenge him to a one-on-one competition, but now I can't do it. So unfortunately, it just didn't work. So, the internet, what can I do? Right?
Yeah. Well, especially after I saw those basketball skills.
Yeah, I was very scared, to be honest with you. But Evan, we thank you so much for being a part of this. And unfortunately, we just couldn't get the internet working, but that's okay. We'll make sure that your story is acknowledged as well, and maybe there's an opportunity to have him in person next year when we all get together. So
that's the excuse we're going to use, Evan. Now you're on for next year, buddy. We'll put you live.
That's right. We know what we're going to do. But thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And again, if you want to just hearing his story and all that he's been able to accomplish in his relatively young life at 20 years old is really impressive. And a lot of that has to do with the services that he has received through the Center for Child Development. And he's just one story of many, many children who may have started life with challenges, but sure have overcome and are really doing incredible things. So that's why it's so important to make sure that you get on the silent auction, you support all our sponsors and the whole bit, because this is what the center does, and this is why lives get changed because of the center. So very important stuff.
Well said, Steve. Absolutely. Speaking, and I echo those comments and sentiments very, very closely. Silent auction. I think we're going to have a little update on the silent auction. Are we?
Yes, I believe.
See where we are so far. Why not?
Yep. So here's we go. We're going to do a little update. And so far we've been able to raise dun, 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 dun. I should grab my cane for this.
Yeah, get the cane in there. Whoa, nice.
$120,000. Wow, that's incredible.
That is fantastic. We will continue to pump up that number. And again, it goes right through till noon tomorrow. And thank you, everyone out there who has been on the silent auction and made your bids. And we'll keep those bids going higher and higher. So give yourselves a little round of applause virtually, if you like.
Gerard, I don't know if you know this, but 110,000 of that is to rent Mark's house. So there you go. We've already it's tremendous. So yes, that's good.
We're almost there.
Yes. Oh man. Okay, hey, so, I was going to say, you've got that cane there. Give yourself the hook, Steve. No,
that's right. Mark's coming with Mark here. Thank you.
Okay, next. What do we have?
We're sort of at the end of the formal portion of the evening. Again, we want to thank our sponsors. They're on the screen. Make sure that if you are in need of services, that you take a look at those sponsors. And when you go in there, like a Sammy J's or CIBC or whatever it is, make sure you acknowledge that you saw them on the Gala of Hope, and that's why you're supporting those businesses. So anyone that's a big supporter of this, make sure you do that. And I just have to say, Gerard, really quickly, because we do have a couple of seconds here, and then I've got tonight's big special wrap up that we talked about. But I just want to say, the story you told earlier about the firefighters coming and GNF Financial as well for the playground, and just think about what our frontline first responders have been dealing with in the last year and a half. And, you know, the medical personnel, the hospitals, the doctors, the nurses, our paramedics, firefighters, police, all those folks. And still they find in their hearts to be a part of not only this evening, but also do what they've done over the last little while. And that's why I've said it before, and I'll say it again. This province has the best first responders ever. Anywhere, hands down. Whenever we've called upon them, they've always been there. So I want to do a very special, just an applause for everyone who's here. Thank you very much to all of our first responders for what you've done over the last, going on almost 2 years in this pandemic. So police, fire, doctors, nurses, support staff, the people who clean the hospitals, the people who support the hospitals and making sure people get where they have to go, work in the front counters, all that. A big round of applause for all those folks. Really is tremendous. So thank you very much. Awesome stuff. Okay, so Marco, you got your hat now? So
yeah, I guess we're gonna wind her down here, wind the show down in style, eh, Steve?
yeah, Gerard,
I'm ready.
Any closing words for us, Gerard?
Well, you know, Steve, I couldn't have said it better than you just did. But honestly, that giving and giving and giving on top of giving, and when it comes to first responders and all our healthcare professionals, so beautifully summarized, sir. And really, you know, a quick story there that really summarizes it right in the middle of, you know, we've got Dylan Van Rooyen as our chair of our foundation board, and he literally is on call in the middle of board meetings. He's literally been called to fire as well. We're about to proceed with the board meeting, and off he goes. And he lets us know that. And I think all the time of exactly your point. I've seen the stress and strain on those healthcare responders. I've seen the emotional toll on them, and still they keep giving. So can't think enough of that, and can't thank enough of our teams, our staff are doing the same through their fear, their anxieties of providing service in this environment, but doing it nobly, persistently, professionally, and really thank you for your acknowledgement and support of all of them. And I know to do that, I mean, nothing's better than a musical interlude.
Exactly. So, folks, what we're going to do here is we're going to wrap up the evening. Again, Mark, it's so, you know, Mark, you know, I love you. You're like my brother from another mother, and we've been together a long time, you and I, and just getting opportunity to work with you again is the greatest of my life. I love working with you, and so thank you. Great to see you. I know we'll see you in person again someday.
Same here, Steve. I miss you lots, and yeah, we go way back. As I said, what, 98? How many years is that? It's a lot of years, half our lives, right?
That's right. That's right. I remember when I first met you, Moses was parting the waters. It was that long ago.
Thanks for a wonderful gala, everybody. Thanks for all your support,
Thank
everyone.
you, everyone.
Thanks
Good
for all
night.
your support.
Bye. Good night.